Have you ever stopped to think about this? Billions of people believe that Prophet Muhammad wasn't just a prophet, but the single greatest human being who ever walked the earth. That's a huge statement. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into that. We'll look at the reasons behind this belief, from his character to his lasting impact on all of us. Let's dive in.
So here's our roadmap. We'll start with the big question, why him? Then we'll explore his divine selection and his famously truthful heart. After that, we'll see how his incredible morals showed up in simple, everyday ways. We'll look at his ideas of mercy and justice, his massive impact on history, and then we'll bring it all home and see how we can actually use his example in our lives today.
All right, let's get right to the heart of it. What is it that makes believers see him as not just an important historical figure, but literally the best of all creation?
You see, the belief goes way beyond him just being a messenger. It's about him being the ultimate role model, the living, breathing example of human perfection in how he treated people, in his sense of justice, and his boundless mercy. He's seen as the peak of what a human being can achieve, morally and spiritually. So, let's unpack that. The whole thing really starts with the idea of a divine choice. According to Islamic tradition, him becoming a prophet wasn't a coincidence or an accident. It was a very deliberate decision from God.
This verse really sums it up. The idea is that a message of this magnitude isn't just given to anybody. It's an immense trust. So it could only be placed in the purest, most truthful, and most capable of hearts. His very selection is seen as the first proof of his exceptional nature.
And get this reputation wasn't something he gained after his mission started. Nope, long before any of that, he was known by everyone in his community as Al-Sadiq Al-Amin, which means the truthful, the trustworthy. Even the people who would later become his biggest enemies agreed on his complete and total integrity. That character was the foundation for everything that came next.
So his selection was seen as divinely inspired, and his reputation was spotless. But it's one thing to have a reputation. It's another to live it out day in and day out, in the little things.
This quote from the Quran is seen as the ultimate endorsement. It's not just his followers or historians saying he was a good person. This is framed as a statement directly from God, basically giving a divine seal of approval on his character, saying it was of the absolute highest level. And these qualities were not just theories. I mean, think about it. He showed mercy to people who physically hurt him. He remained humble even when he was the leader of a growing nation. He was incredibly patient through years of intense difficulty. And maybe the most amazing of all, he forgave his persecutors when he finally had the power to take revenge. You know, his greatness really shone through in these small, relatable moments. The historical records say he never, ever raised a hand to a servant. He would sit and mend his own clothes, fix his own shoes, even though he was a respected leader. And he was just known for his warm smile. It's those simple, everyday actions that paint the clearest picture of his true character. Okay, so his personal character was off the charts. But how did he scale that up to build a just and fair society? This is where we see his personal morals become public policy, so to speak.
This concept is absolutely central. His purpose, his mission, wasn't just for his own tribe, or even just for human beings. The term worlds here is understood to mean all of creation, humans, animals, the environment, everything. His entire being was meant to be an expression of universal mercy.
And the stories about this are endless. There's a famous one where he saw a mother bird flying around its nest in a panic because someone had taken its chicks. He became visibly upset and ordered that the chicks be returned immediately. That deep level of empathy for all living things is right at the core of why he's called a mercy to the worlds.
But alongside that incredible mercy was an ironclad commitment to justice. This statement is just, wow. He's making it crystal clear that the law is the law, and it applies to absolutely everyone, no exceptions, not even for his own beloved daughter. In the society he built, power and connections meant nothing when it came to justice. It had to be absolute.
So now let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about his character and his principles, but what was the result? What was his actual tangible legacy? Here's the number that blows your mind: 23 years. In just over 2 decades, he completely transformed his society and laid the foundation for a global civilization that would change the course of history. The sheer speed and scale of that change is something historians, Muslim and non-Muslim alike, find pretty much unparalleled.
So what did this transformation look like on the ground? Well, he united tribes that had been at war for centuries, all under the idea of one God. He dismantled corrupt systems of injustice. He introduced groundbreaking rights for women in things like inheritance and marriage. But at its heart, his message was about freedom, freeing people from being servants to other people, and instead directing their devotion to God alone.
Okay, so we've explored the why, but let's be real. The whole point of having such a powerful example is to actually follow it. And that brings us to the most important question for us right here, right now.
This is something really worth thinking about, isn't it? How do we take these beautiful principles from the 7th century, humility, forgiveness, justice, mercy, and make them real, make them tangible in our own 21st century lives?
Let's make it super practical. Humility, it can be as simple as truly listening to someone else's opinion with respect, even when you totally disagree. Forgiveness, it's about making the choice to let go of a grudge that's probably hurting you more than anyone else. Justice, that's about treating your coworkers and your family members fairly, without playing favorites. And mercy? Oh, that's everywhere. It's in the kindness you show to a delivery driver, a stray animal, or anyone who's vulnerable.
And we'll end with this. After being run out of the city of Taif, being stoned by its people until he bled, this was his prayer. Not a curse, not a demand for revenge. He prayed for the guidance of the very people who had just brutalized him. This single moment, this profound ability to show mercy in the face of so much pain, is for many people the ultimate answer to our question. And it leaves us with a question for ourselves. What level of compassion are we capable of in our own lives?